show the source code of my application. It uses a Flask application to serve an object detection model based on YOLO. And this is the main code for the detection process. The image data is decoded from base64 to an array suitable for OpenCV. The YOLO model then takes the image and outputs bounding boxes for detected objects. And non-maximum suppression is applied to refine these detections by eliminating redundant bounding boxes. And here are the global variables and model loading. This can reduce the loading time per request and improves the overall performance of application. The next step is the construction of the web service, which uses the Flask framework. A complete image detection service is defined. The service accepts JSON format requests containing base64 encoded images. The JSON data is parsed using this function, which retrieves the image data and any additional information, like a unique ID. After object detection, the survey packages the results into a JSON response, which include JSON, the original ID, and a list of detected objects as shown. Finally, app run sets the address where the survey is running, the port, and multi-threaded. Then I'll discuss how to containerize our Flask app using Docker. Let me first show you the doc file and then briefly explain each command. This provides the necessary Python environment, and this sets the work directory to app, and all subsequent operations are based on this directory. This one copies all files in the current directory to the app directory. Then install all dependencies list in the requirements text file, and this file is also created in the current directory. When the container starts, it executes our Flask app by default, and now we can run it and build the Docker image. Next is Kubernetes cluster and Kubernetes service. I complete the installation of Docker and Kubernetes with the guidance of the documentation for Lab 4. And then we can see the Docker version and Kubernetes version here. And then we can see that I used WebNet as the networking model because it's one of the most mature and robust networking models available for Kubernetes, providing a simple to set up network that spans all the nodes in a cluster. And then I use this command to list my cluster nodes. It displays detailed information about 3 nodes in a Kubernetes cluster. All nodes are in a ready state with instance for serving as a control plane node. They are using Ubuntu and using Docker as the container runtime and no external IPs assigned. Then I'll show you my deployment file. This Kubernetes deployment configuration defines an app named Object Detection with 4 replicas, and they all match using the label App Object Detection. Each replica runs a container of the same name, pulling the latest detect image from a repository, and with fixed resource limits, and assume the service runs on port 80. Next is the service file. It uses a node port type to allow external access with an internal service port set to 80, a target port set to 8080, and an external access port at 31557. Since my image was created on another server outside the closed cluster, I need to tag the image and push it to the OCI repository, and then configure the correct image address in the deployment file. And here is my instance. I create a total of 4. The instance 4 is the controller code, controller node, and this is public IP. By our nodes are deployed in specific virtual code networks and subnets. By configuring security group, I restricted network access to only allow traffic in and out of specific ports. Now this command can show my ports. I can see the deployment is working, and here is a sample test script that sends 4 posts to the service, and I've run it before. Then we use the log. We show the log for the pods. As you can see from the logs, the individual post requests are assigned to different posts. And this script is using the Locust loading testing framework. It defines a class that extends HTTP user, providing functionality for simulated users to upload images to a specified server. And we can run it and go to the web. Set the number and start. And this means that everything is working fine.